Have you ever seen lightning fast drummers like this? But when you try to replicate their kick speed, you just trip over your own feet? What are they doing that you're not? Well, if there's anything I've learned over my 20 years as a session drummer, it's how to nail parts like this under pressure. Today, I'm going to show you the most common mistakes drummers make that are limiting their foot speed, how to get your feet faster than a Looney Tunes cartoon using this simple hack, and I'll give you 3 killer exercises that hundreds of my students have used to get their foot endurance up in just 1 week, so you can do the same. And as always, all the exercises, notation, and steps that you need to take are free, link is below. But if you're going to level up your kick speed and endurance, which techniques will you need to know to get there? The first is called heel down, which means your heel stays married to the heel plate of the pedal. Heel down is great for soft playing. It doesn't take a lot of effort, but it can wear you out fast if you use it to play fast. But it does play a part in the trick I'm going to show you later, but then again, so does heel up technique, which is the next technique you need to be familiar with. Heel up playing can come from your entire leg, your ankles, or both. If you want power, you'll want to move your entire leg up and down, because then you'll have all that weight and strength that you can use to get the most out of the drum. It's kind of like, have you ever bounced a little kid on your knee? Or maybe you remember being that kid yourself, but the point is that that motion is what you want to do on the pedal. It's a very similar thing, which brings us to this critical mistake that I see a lot of drummers making, and it creates a lot of problems. Timing gets sloppier and speed becomes severely capped just from this one mistake. Once you fix it though, you're going to have so much more control over the kick pedal and your timing, it's not even funny. To understand this mistake, we have to talk about the piano. Think of how the keys of a piano work. You press your finger on the key, but it hasn't made a sound yet. You actually need to press that key down until it hits the key bed for the piano hammer to hit the strings. When I want to play repeated notes on one key of the piano, my timing is going to be sloppy if I do this. But why is that? My finger is coming off of the key before coming back down. It's impacting the key and not making a sound until it makes that second impact at the bottom. So there's this slight interruption or resistance while my finger is traveling towards making the note. And it's very difficult for me to get my motions consistent and get all the way down to hit that note with the timing that I want. But if I instead keep my finger resting on the key the entire time, I can go up from the key bed and back down to play those repeated notes without any other impact or resistance that interrupts that flow of motion. The same principle applies to your kick pedal, with one small exception that I'll talk about later. Just use this exercise to get started and really focus on your connection to the pedal board at all times. So for now, make sure to keep the ball of your foot on the pedal at all times. You're going to have so much more control than if you come off of the footboard and have to impact it again to get through it to play your kick. And if you've got that sorted out, what's the next problem holding you back from faster speeds? Well, if you're making this mistake, then you're going to be tiring yourself out quickly with very little to show for it. Once you fix it, you're going to be playing 4 times as fast like it was nothing. It all has to do with the range of motion that you're using to move the pedal, but it's much easier to show you with my hands first. Okay, so I'm playing 16th notes at 150 BPM, single strokes, and I want to push it faster. So far so good, but right here I'm hitting a limit. Why am I hitting that limit? It's because I'm simply trying to travel too far a distance with my stick for each stroke. The louder I want to play, the lower my speed limit gets. If I want to actually push my speed faster, I need to use smaller ranges of motion and make my movements as small as possible. But there's more to it than that. Naturally, with lower stick heights, I don't have to travel as far. So the same speed of motion results in faster notes. If you drop a ball, think about how it bounces high and slow at first, and as it bounces lower and lower, those bounces actually speed up. It doesn't have to travel as far. And it's the same with your sticks. To play fast, you need to make small movements. But just as important, to play fast, you need to use smaller muscle groups. So as I switch from using my entire arm to my wrists, I can play faster. And when I switch from playing with my wrists to my fingers, I can play even faster than that. And it's the same for your feet. Rather than using your entire leg, like we just talked about for heel up technique, if you want to play fast, you want to move to smaller muscle groups. Now, I'm not talking about your pinky toe, because even if you're barefoot, I'm pretty sure that's impossible. But if you're using just your ankle as the hinge, you're engaging smaller muscle groups and using a much smaller range of motion, and you're going to be able to play much, much faster. So how do you actually take this ankle technique and, well, play fast with it? The key is to be really in control of your subdivisions. So here are the steps to do just that. Here, I'm adding my hand on the hi-hat, playing quarter notes so that we can really make sure we're lined up with the quarter note pulse and that our hands and feet are lined up together. So you want to really make sure you're not flamming. And I'll link another episode below that is going to help you nail this precision with some hand exercises. If you can get that clean, then it's about switching between note rates. So here we're switching between 8th note triplets and 16th notes. This is going to teach you and force you to get your muscles moving the pedal and moving the beater to line these things up. So if you're paying attention to both the note that lines up with your hands and the notes in between so that they're all evenly spaced, you're going to get a lot of control and a lot of great timing developed out of this. Now, wherever your starting tempo is, I do recommend that every day you give it a couple of minutes of practice, make sure it's really clean, and then try to bump it up about 10 BPM each day. So if you're going from 50 BPM, try to get to 100, 110, 120 the following week. Okay, so this is going to get your ankle speed faster, but what if you want to play chops like this? A lot of drummers start down this path, but they get stuck. So here's what you got to do. What I'm doing here is I'm starting with the ball of my foot about halfway down in the middle of the pedal board. I'm going to hit once there and then push my foot forward, and that's going to naturally move the pedal board and the beater back in for a second note. What that means is with one forward motion, we can get 2 notes. And as you get that faster and faster, it becomes really fluid, really effortless to bust out 2 really quick notes. You can get doubles like crazy. To really nail these patterns, you want to be able to play those 2 kicks in a row in any place within a sequence of 4 or 6 notes, etc. We're going to focus on a couple of 4-note combinations today. That means right, left, kick, kick, right, kick, kick, left, kick, kick, right, left, and kick, left, right, kick. These are all basically the same thing. Rights are always on ones and ands, lefts are always on e's and ahs, but then we have the doubles with the kick. Here are all those patterns in one exercise at 70 BPM. If you have some different patterns or combinations that you think we should cover, then put them in the comments below. The key thing though is to make sure that your slide technique is smooth and getting those doubles really, really even in time. You want to make sure that it sounds like 4 evenly spaced notes, really, really cleanly. This exercise is going to open up a lot of possibilities in your drumming, but if you're not working on this technique, you'll keep hitting the wall. So watch this video where I'll break down how to improve your technique the right way.